It's my time, it's my season, and I've got a good reason to open my mouth. Gonna let it out, open your mind, grab your friend. Hope you listen to the end. The vibe is good and learning meets on She Who Speaks. Hello and welcome to She Who Speaks. I'm Renee, lover of a good laugh and all things behavioral. With me is the beautiful Marilyn. She's quiet, unassuming, but with the perfect listening ear. We also have Loveen. She's a warrior, unstoppable force with the voice of an angel. Thank you so much for pulling up a chair and listening to She Who Speaks.
All right, ladies. I hope you're ready because today we are going to talk about bucket list. Ah,
Oof.
it's a new year, and we talked about new resolutions, but what about those bucket lists, those goals, and all those dreams that we have and that we would like to accomplish? And one of the one of the things that I've seen recently that inspired me to think about this subject is the movie, like a movie cartoon Soul. So I love cartoons, by the way. And this one had, I know, like I take my kids as an excuse to watch them. But that's okay. So I was watching this movie, and actually, this cartoon was deep. So in this movie, so as I said, the name of the movie was Soul. So basically, the storyline is the story of a man who is a musician, and
Mhm.
his dream was always to play the piano for big star. He gets the opportunity of a lifetime to do it,
Mhm.
but as he's on his way to announce to break the big news to his family, so I don't want to spoil anything, guys. Sorry if I spoil so and then he goes to this the great before. I don't know, remember the exact name, but basically the great before, and he meets a soul that has yet to live on Earth,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna make it short. Basically, through that encounter, he realizes that his life has always been about this big goal, but that he forgot to live or to enjoy life to the fullest, like in all the little things in between what you do to reach those goals.
Like the
So,
process.
right, the process, exactly. Enjoy. He forgot to enjoy the process,
Mhm.
and although that's what we want to do, we also want to do to sorry guys, um
Yeah, fine.
although that's what we want to do,
Mhm.
we also want to reach those goals that we have in life, right?
Yeah.
So what the first question would be, what is on your bucket list, guys, ladies?
My bucket list is way too long, girl. Way too long. It's been too long for too long.
I like what you did there. Yep.
Good one.
Because I'm thinking like doing this podcast is was one of my bucket list. Doing another actually French podcast is on my has been in my bucket list.
Nice.
I think I have some idea for businesses. Like, the frustrating part is when you had the idea for a long time and nobody had it, and then suddenly
You snooze, you
everybody's
lose.
doing it.
Yeah.
So you're like, should I still do it because they don't do it the way you thought about it, or should you just let it go because you didn't do it at the time you were supposed to?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm dealing with a few of those ideas right now that were on my bucket list, and I guess for me, it's I think I said that it's a goal it's a resolution, but also a goal about like self care,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense where like fitness goal, like I'm not trying to be crazy, but just having a healthy
Right.
lifestyle. I put that on the side, and I'm like, come on, girl, you have to do this. So it's more good like that. It's like business wise, and and self-care, like, on different, like, really do things that truly enjoy, like some country that I want to visit, but COVID shut down
Yeah.
all of that, or even activity, that I want to go and try, so at least have an initiation into it. So
Mhm.
I have that. Uh, that's kind of my bucket list for 2021.
Good.
Some of that sounds familiar. So for mine, like they're like different spectrums of it. I have little
Mm-hmm.
bucket list items like being able to sing in front
Uh-huh.
of a crowd, not like church sing, but like
Ah,
even like karaoke
Oh, this
sing.
girl can sing.
thank you.
Um,
Uh-huh.
but just to feel comfortable having fun being silly in front
Mm.
of a group. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
there. I'm not there yet. I have no problem being silly one on one, but like to sing
Mm-hmm.
and just be carefree, I guess is the best way to say that. I
That's a good goal.
That's one. I also do want to travel.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be part of like a conference, like a presenter at some kind of conference. That's another. So
I
they're like
can
Okay.
I have
see it.
little,
I can see it.
I,
Yeah.
you know, I
I
have a
can see it.
couple.
Good. You're
And you,
good.
Marilyn.
I know you're not gonna get off the hook. We want to hear your.
It's funny because it's a little bit of both of what you guys said. I would like definitely. So I've shared this goal with Love Mean actually before. She was an inspiration for this one. But I would really like. I've always loved to sing, but as you guys know, I am terrified. Like being in front of an audience and just I'm always in my head. I'm always thinking about what people are thinking when they're seeing me. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really like a big hurdle for me to jump over. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be one of the things that I would really like to do is to be able to have my own song and maybe have a trace of that, like record it and be able to say, okay, I did it. I did something. There is a trace of what I've done, and I'll be happy with it. So I'm praying that God makes a way for it to happen one day.
Okay, we talk about that. We're
All
gonna
right,
talk about that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
exactly.
Right,
Because
right,
I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
this girl can sing, like she not
Yes.
play sing, but
uh,
sing.
Let her finish, and then we're gonna jump on.
right,
We're
right.
gonna.
So that would be one of the dream that I've always had that I would like to realize. Also, traveling is always something that I love to do, that I've been doing, but married, children,
Yeah.
COVID,
COVID.
everything is has not been set up for me to be able to do it. So I would really like to continue to travel and to do it. I really love to do it with my family. So it's things that I really love to do. And actually, this year I was very, very happy. Looking back, we're doing a little flashback on the year as well, I guess. In 2020, I was really, really happy that I got to do a bucket list destination for my mom, which was New York. So
Oh,
I'd never
nice.
been to New York before, and every time that she was coming here, it was to help me when I had my kids or when I moved in the house. So like she was always there for me, and it was so cool to be able to do something with her, just the two of us, and to take her to New York and see her her
Enjoying it.
like a child in front of all the
Mm-hmm.
monuments that we've seen in her history book and that she never got to experience. So I was really that was one of the bucket lists because I love to see people's bucket list being done
Check out.
too. But my
Uh-huh.
bucket list is also to have the people that I love enjoying their bucket list. That's something that
Mm.
priceless.
That's
Uh-huh.
good.
So that was definitely a big one for me. And yeah, and also this part once again, this podcast, we're living in our dreams, guys.
Yeah, we are. We
I mean,
are.
it's the dream. It's like it's really something that I've never thought in a million years. If you had told me 9 years ago when I first came here, and I was like, I could not even ask
In
for
America?
in America for a coffee, or for like, I was terrified, like, to ask for
Girl,
anything with my accent, even good morning. Oh, where are you from? I'm like, oh.
girl, were you telling?
So,
Please
and like,
continue.
and I know even during this podcast, I know there will be, obviously there will be some mistakes that will be made.
Mhm.
But just being able to just do it and
Mhm.
just take that step, is just a dream. So
Awesome.
thank
That's
you,
nice.
guys, and then by the way, for like forming that team, putting that team together for us to be able to express ourselves, and yeah, get say talk to our fear and say, no, 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 you're not gonna take that away from me.
Break up with our fears. That's it. Yep.
Exactly.
Lady, I have a question. How do you plan to achieve those goals? Because basically, what we're talking right now is that a list of goals that we have on our list. So, I would like to know. Help me, tell me, because I don't want us to have a bunch of lists that never get marked off. You
Yeah.
know, we never have a chance to just, you know, scratch it and say, okay, it's done.
Then
So let's be practical. In our other episode, we talk about the smart tools
Goals.
to
Yeah.
help us to talk about how to envision goal. So I'm listening to you. How are we gonna do it? How are we gonna do it?
I
And
know.
hold on, I have
Go ahead. Go ahead.
hold on. I have another question before this one. Those goals, are they just specific to 2021, or did you have those goals prior to 2020?
oh yeah.
Yeah. And if yes, how are you gonna make sure that you're gonna achieve those goals in 2021?
Mercy. I mean, I feel like Love Mean came out with the guns. Okay.
Let's not talk just for talk, you know.
You know, it's true. That's true though, because I think some of the bucket list items I've had them for a while, and I haven't done them
Mhm.
because, like Marilyn said, I've been engaged and married and been on honeymoon with Fear. And Fear and I have been in a serious relationship, so I didn't want to cheat on
Right.
Fair, so I just kind
Fear.
of stayed committed to Fair. So it's
That's real. That's real.
yeah. I
Mhm.
will say though, I'm trying to not say no as quickly as I used to. Um,
Mm.
so I say I want to be part of a conference, or I think it would be really cool, or but people ask me to do simple stuff. I'm like, no, no, thank you. So
That's a good awareness.
yeah.
Right.
It's important.
So
Mhm.
this honestly, so this platform is therapy for me and practice for me
Yes.
to be able to just practice being open. And I do not
Mhm.
have, because one of the biggest things too is I like to be in control of myself and my emotions and comfortable. This is very uncomfortable because I am literally talking into a camera with no real clue who's looking. And
Mm-hmm.
I have no control
Mhm.
over how it's processed. I have no
Mm-hmm.
control about how far it goes. And so I feel like this
Mm-hmm.
is an
And how it's judged.
and how you're
Mm-hmm.
judged about it. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is good exercise for me. Um, I clearly can't invite myself to anybody's conference, but I can create my own or my own
Hey,
little
come on,
Hey.
somebody.
practice conference till I get there. So, and in
To
terms of
start.
travel, just um, COVID's kind of so real right now. I have to figure out how I'm going to do the travel part, but I suppose we can do like stateside stuff for now.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. It's still good. Like that's something that America has so many states, and each state has something unique.
Hmm.
So that's something that take advantage of that.
Hmm.
And
Right.
you, Marilyn. How long did you have this goal? For how long have you had this goal?
I was born with those goals.
Yes. No, so serious, so serious. Yeah.
Hey,
Right,
it's real.
right. So yeah, I've been having these goals for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I think that for some of them, it's all about the money, money, money for
Yeah.
travel.
Mhm,
So, so you have to rack up those coins, I
Mm.
guess,
mhm,
and be I guess reasonable with like the traveling, as you said, start
mhm,
big, like plan, and it's very
mhm.
important. But for other goals, um, I think that it's also I'm trying to be in between, guys. So balance. So let me explain myself. So I know that as Renee, I'm driven by a lot of my fears, but at the same time, I don't want to be someone that I'm not. I don't know if
Okay.
you're understanding what I'm saying.
Mhm,
So before I used to be frustrated with myself. Why are you not able to do that? Why are you like this? Why are you um, hindering yourself or hiding yourself? And it was not healthy as well. So I
mhm,
think that for me, the best way to do things is baby steps and to accept that some things for me will be made in baby steps
Mhm.
and
okay.
and and just be okay with that. That Marilyn, okay, you're not this person, you're not this person, you're not
Yeah,
that
don't compare.
exactly.
Mhm,
Don't compare yourself. Don't be on anyone else's timeline but yours, because
mhm,
you don't have to not be comfortable and not be yourself. You don't have to
mhm.
compromise yourself to reach certain goals or to do some of the things that you would like to do. So for me, it's important to also be on your time, although you want to accomplish these things, but
That's
just
true.
like the movie, you want to enjoy the
The
process,
process.
and
It's
let
hard.
let God mold you and guide
Mhm.
you and trust Him. So yeah,
Whew,
that's
yeah,
me.
it's
That's
true, but it's hard.
mhm.
It's hard, but it's hard because I feel like it's something that you hear often, but as you get older, it hits you differently.
Different.
You know,
Definitely.
uh,
Mhm.
for me, I think something that I'm going to try to do this year is putting myself as a priority
Mhm.
and make those goals as a priority. A priority, like we said, when we get married or when we have kids. I
Mhm.
think for me it was I was sharing that with my cousin earlier that it's like I feel like prior being married, for example, I was on a trajectory. And then when you involve someone in opinion, not necessarily opinion, but life, when you
Mhm.
link your life to someone,
Mm-hmm.
it's like naturally you're gonna, you have to include his journey to yours.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And sometimes it's imagine is great, but sometimes as woman naturally you have a tendency to put him first.
Yeah, take a back seat.
And then, you're like, but me as a wife, my goal is to make sure this house is clean and he eat good food and all of that, which is good.
Mm.
Not if it's because there's some women that's what they do, and they are really happy like that. This is their ministry. Like they really they blossom in that context. He
Right.
taking all care of all of that, and be just not just but like being a housewife is really, and that's it, I'm good. But for me, I realized that yes, I enjoy it, but I had stuff inside of me that I wanted to
Get
accomplish,
out.
and now I'm like, I have to put myself back as a priority, and not just to put everybody else but myself, because something that I don't want to be is a bitter woman, like being in my 50s, 60, 80, and say, I should have done this, I should have done that,
Mm-hmm.
I should have done. So I'm big on, as for me, when I journal a lot, you
Mhm.
know, it's far. I was going to get my journal, but it said everything is possible.
I love
But
that. I love that.
I have a journal, and even in my room, I have it's not a vision board, but there was a time in my life I was like, okay, I mean, what do you want to do? What do you want to? So I have like honestly, it's not vision board with picture, but it's like, okay, this goal, I want to accomplish this goal. Okay, and I said, this is the steps you need to do to get to this goal. you have to go there, or if it's like a training, you have to go to school, do this, do that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have another thing, like I want to buy a car, for example. Okay, what's the steps you need? Do you need to set this amount of money, do this? Like I didn't just write the goal, I also write
Wow.
to myself the list of things that I have to do.
You made it
Like that,
measurable,
it's in
yeah.
my room. It's like it's next to my mirror. And sometimes some days when I'm like, oh, I have nothing to do. No, girl, your boss said that you have a lot of things to do. So
Mhm.
even if it's a one thing, doesn't have to be big. The
Yeah.
one task that I can just mark off. That's okay. We did a step today for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how and I'm trying to be consistent with that for 2021. So hopefully next year, at this time, we'll be like, woo, I've done it, you know. But if
Take
not,
us along for
at
the
least
ride.
I try. At least I try.
That is so
Yeah.
true what you're saying. So true. As women, we put ourselves second, third, fourth, fifth, and and I mean it's as you said, it's natural, but it's not always healthy
Yes,
to do that.
that's what it is.
So
I
yeah,
feel like
what
I
you're
feel like I'm
saying,
about to
I'm
say
reflecting on that.
say again.
What did you say?
No, no, I said what you just said. I'm actually reflecting on what you just
Ah.
said. It's powerful.
Yep.
No, but like I said, for me, it's a journey, and life have to because I guess I've seen so many women that act like they're happy when they get older, and then when you scratch a little bit and ask few questions, you can the bitterness is just coming out, and I'm like, ooh,
Mm.
ooh, God, tell me, please, what do I have to do to make sure? I'm not judging them, but I'm like, I feel like it's an opportunity for me to learn,
To learn.
and something, and the common theme is always that it was. I mean, there was a time in my life where I felt like God allowed me to meet so many women that appear all put together, but
Mm.
inside they were so broken because they were unfulfilled, and
Mm.
that's really something that I'm trying to understand, because at the same time we are in this social media era, and
Mhm.
everybody act like they all about this business, they all got it together,
Yeah.
and that can
Yep.
create another type of fear, like, ooh, maybe I'm okay where I'm at.
Mhm.
It look like too much, so it's just finding what is best for me, you
Right,
know
Mhm.
and be okay that this is my own lane. I'm not here if I want to be inspired, but I don't want to have all those complex. Like, I don't want to, like, I just inspire me. And if
right.
not, well, I'm okay. This is your lane. This is your life. Let
Mhm.
me live mine.
That
And I
is
think
so
if like for people who are not, and I agree 100% with what you're saying, love me. In fact, I'll take a little sidestep and come back to the point. But I remember when we were pregnant, I have this thing against commitment. Like commitment, I have to work through that thing in my mind and just realizing I was getting ready to be someone's mom.
Nah.
And then remembering like you, because when I was 8 hanging out with women who were 40, I've like my friends typically were never my age group. And so I was always a
Hmm.
younger person that had head knowledge of people who were 60 and 80 because those were my friends.
Hmm.
And they would
Hmm.
tell me exactly what you're saying, love mean, find something that you're passionate about because eventually the children grow up and leave. Your partner
Hmm.
can die, heaven forbid, or
Hmm.
you separate or whatever. When
Hmm.
all of those different hats that you wear are taken away from you, who are you really? And
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of
Exactly.
times that's why people end up feeling so lost and hurt because they invested their whole identity in what should have really been hats that they wear, but instead they became the hat. So rather than being Lavmin or a Renee or a Marilyn, I am wife.
Yeah, yeah. and
Rather
and
than,
so, and some people enjoy that title, and it's fun. And once again, there's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy, but make sure that this is really what you want. Because I had
Mhm.
women tell me, "Girl, you should be happy. Yes, you have somebody, you have someone has dreams. Someone would love to have this man and blah blah blah." And I'm like, okay,
mm,
good
Mhm.
for them. but we're
Right.
talking about my life and
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I
it's
want.
crazy.
I'm not ungrateful. I know that I want more. Is it something wrong with that?
Not at all.
No, and I think women sometimes we feel we feel made we're made to feel guilty for thinking
Guilty.
we can have it all or we can have so much more. Like we aren't just tied to one role or one
Mhm.
hat, one position. What I wanted to say too is, for me, it took a while to kind of figure out what items would be on my bucket list, so to speak. And one of the things that I would recommend for anyone who's not quite sure, what's on their
Mhm.
bucket list is just kind of look around you and see what you gravitate towards. What are some
Mm-hmm.
of the things that you're really into?
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time I wanted to be a mortician because, I mean, and I did start doing research. I did. And I thought about it. And, then the Holy Spirit said, come on, Renee, okay. Your personality is a little bit too upbeat to be surrounded by a corpse. But that was something that I loved and I still love it. So just kind of figure out what it is that you like to do, what gives you joy. And if
Uh-huh.
it's measurable, and like what Marilyn was saying, if it's not unrealistic, like I want to travel the world, but you have $10 in your bank account, maybe that's not something you can do 2021. But start like doing a vision board, and maybe then you can, make plans
Yeah.
to do that.
All
Oh.
right.
So um, I'm gonna unveil our guest. She
Mhm.
is a friend of mine. I've known Earleen for a couple years, and she is so talk about someone who has dreams and doesn't apparently, well, she'll tell us if she's scared or not, but doesn't appear to be scared because she just kind of goes out and does her dreams. So Earleen, let us know when you can hear us and when we can see your pretty face.
Hello. So hi.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to She Who Speaks. So
Thank you.
of course you know me. Um, Marilyn, as her name suggests, she's at top, and all the way from France
Hi, Mama.
is Lamine. So this is actually
Oh
Lamine's bedtime.
wow.
She's so sweet. She's hanging out with us.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we're basically talking about bucket lists. And so I told her
Mm-hmm.
I have to call Earleen because, and I'll let you talk a little bit more, and Marilyn will kind of pick your brain. But I was telling them, when I think about someone who has big dreams and seems to just be carefree and go out and just pursue these different big ideas, you're one of the first persons that came to my mind. And I said, girls, we have to get Earleen. Let's see if we can get her to kind of just tell us a little bit about that. But anyway, I'll stop talking. Take over, Marilyn.
Yeah, so I think you said it all, girl. It's all about this bucket list that we have and how we get to accomplish all of those dreams and all of the things that we want to do. And we thought that you would have been the perfect fit to talk about those dreams and talk about what you've been doing so far to reach those goals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me ask this question. Do you want me to stick to just travel or do you want me to just speak in general?
In general, tell us.
Oh, go
Okay.
ahead, girl. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So
Sure.
okay, let me start with the travel piece of it. So, as you know, last year around September, I started my travel page. It is called Leenie Travels. And through that page, I've been documenting my travels around the world. So, from a very young age, I've loved to travel. My dad, he was a cricketer. And from a baby, he used to take me to the different islands when he would play cricket. And for me, I wasn't really interested in the sport because if you know, back in the day when they had test cricket, if you know anything about cricket, they were 4 days long. And being a very active kid, I could not sit down for 4 days and participate in the cricket experience. So for me, it was just about traveling, jumping on a plane, and seeing the different countries that he would travel to. So that is where my travel interest sparked. And when I came up to the US for school, I started to visit different states domestically. So I was studying in Huntsville, Alabama. I went over to Atlanta, Chicago, Tennessee, and it just really became a dream of mine to touch all 50 states at one point. And no, I have not achieved that as yet, but I do plan to do that. So because of that interest, everyone keeps telling me like, oh my gosh, Earleen, you're always traveling. You always get these sweet deals, because I'm also very, very tight with my budget. And I do not like to spend a bad dollar when I'm traveling. So I look for the best deals. I look for the best hotels, the best airfares. You know, I grew up in Antigua. I've gotten flights to Antigua for $287 when regular tickets are around $600. It's all about the timing. So it's something that I've researched over the years. You know, what is the best time of year to travel? Definitely not summer, and Christmas is not the best time to travel. You can find cheap flights, but you have to book them way in advance. You want to travel around the off seasons for the best deal. So things like that I enjoy doing. I have this crazy dream to visit all 195 countries. I know it is very wild, because if you think of my current career, I don't know how I'm going to do it, maybe when I retire, but that is definitely a bucket list item. I want to visit all of the countries in the world. I'm not a very good, when it comes to the cold, I'm not very good with that, but I do want to go to Antarctica and stay in an igloo. That is one of my crazy bucket list items. So,
All right, girl.
Can you
Good for you.
walk us to some of the destinations that you have done so far?
yeah, so most of my travel have been to the Caribbean, and just for the fact that I told you as a young child, I've been to pretty much a lot of the Leeward and Windward Islands. Recently, I went to China. China was one of my bucket list items because I wanted to visit the Great Wall. So I visited China, and then I took it along Central America. I went to Costa Rica, I went to Panama, and then I went down to the Dutch islands. I went to Aruba. I came back up, went to Turks and Caicos. So I've just been staying within this region. I haven't made it to Europe as yet. And that was the plan for this summer prior to COVID. They took away, I had a cruise booked. We were going to go along the Mediterranean, starting in, I think it was Italy. We were going to France, to Spain, to Casablanca, Morocco. And I was just going to do that one to kind of touch that side of the world. But because of COVID, I'm stuck here.
Yep.
Happened to all of us.
Yes.
We were kind of talking about how the girls and I were talking about how we've had our bucket list for a while, and it's kind of almost as old as we are. How did you break out of just the rut? For us, we've found that finances as well as just fear have kind of kept us captive to not fulfilling the bucket list, if you will. So how have you basically catapulted yourself? What did that look like in you at being able to achieve all of that?
So that's a very good question, because to be honest, I was very afraid. Even when I started documenting my travel, I was very afraid. And most of the time when I do travel, I have a friend traveling with me because I am still afraid to do solo traveling. I would say what pushed me the most, I have a friend who's also into traveling. Her name is Deanna, and she has always been a driving force behind of me. She said, you know, Earleen, you're always traveling to these places. You should document your travel. And I just decided one day, you know what? I'm tired of her nagging in my ears. Let me just do it, because I would share my goals and my dreams with her, the places that I want to visit. And she was telling me, Earleen, just do it. She even started her YouTube channel. She didn't know anything about YouTube. And she got up one day, she started her channel. And right now, when I tell you, I just watch her in awe to see how easily and naturally the words just flow from her mouth as she's recording. And I have to tell her, you know, I really wish I could be like you one day. And she keeps telling me, Earleen, you can do it. I know you can. So I think just having that person behind of me to push me is definitely a huge help. And, you know, I just tell myself that you only, not, well, for us, we believe in an afterlife, right? But I just tell myself, you only have one time to experience it. Just go for it, get it done, get it out of the way. And then you can look back and say, hey, I actually did it. And that is what motivated me to get it done.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Mhm.
That is awesome. You know, I had some of those dreams as well, but did that cut short. I was able to go. I mean, I was born in France, so naturally, Europe was one of the first destination. I had the opportunity to go to England, Italy, Spain,
Mhm.
a lot of islands from the Caribbean as well, because I'm from Guadeloupe and
Oh, wow. That's
Martinique.
actually on my list too.
Okay, so I'm from Guadeloupe and Martinique, so that's where I spent my summer from an early age. And then also I've been to Aruba as well. I loved it.
Yes,
We did a
that's
lot of
actually
cruise
one
with
of my
my
top
husband,
three.
so we get to hit those things, and even part of Mexico and other places. And we had the opportunity to go to Thailand before we had kids. So that was an
Mhm.
amazing trip.
Oh,
And
nice.
I
Yeah.
would love to go back to Asia, to
Yes.
other part of Asia when it's
And
possible.
And I will say, because I know it becomes a lot more difficult when you have kids to travel with the kids. So I think that's part of my drive as well, too, trying to get a lot of it out of the way so that whenever I do decide to have kids, I don't have to worry about buying 5 plane tickets for a
Right,
husband and
Right.
kids,
Right.
because that will definitely
yes,
increase your costs. Getting kids ready plus getting yourself ready, it takes time. I can definitely relate and understand as to why you may not want to check off some of your bucket list right now. So
Can I ask you a question?
yes.
So I heard that you said that you want to make sure that you travel as much as you want, as you can before you get married and have kids. But something that I guess coming from the my background is Haiti, so for my parents, they were like, oh, you cannot do. I did travel prior, but it was with them before.
Mm-hmm.
But as for them, as a single ladies, they're like, what you gonna do when your husband? Where you gonna go if you travel
Mm-hmm.
the world? Or if you already did all of that prior being married? Are you? Do you think that your I don't know if you're married or your partner would be intimidated by the fact that you've done so much prior meeting him, or like how do you feel about that? I don't know if you get my question.
Mhm.
Yes, I do. And to answer the question, I'm single. I'm not dating anyone currently, but sometimes I do worry about men being intimidated by the fact, and not just because I travel, because I've completed my bachelor's, I've completed my master's, I've just become PMP certified, and I feel like I have done pretty well for myself. And guys are typically, very intimidated when they come around a woman who has so much accomplishments. And I've seen it time and time over again as I'm talking to different guys where that intimidation, it starts to show. But I
Uh-huh.
just tell myself that the right person for me is going to accept me for who I am.
Come
They're going
on.
to appreciate me for everything. They're going to see that they have a wonderful woman who
Yeah.
will get it done. So
Yep.
Right.
I just hope that the person that I will find will just see it as a blessing to their life and not feel intimidated by the fact that I've done all these things.
All right.
Exactly.
Amen. And who knows, maybe you can meet your match while traveling.
Come on.
That happened to my
You need to
cousin,
go to
believe it
one
or
of those
not.
churches over
Yes.
Yep.
Open your eyes, eh? Open your eyes.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Exactly. Never know. Never know.
Continue
Yes.
to, and I admire that about you. I'm happy you mentioned that. Continue to just live life out loud, and I appreciate the fact
Mhm.
that you do not dim your light for anything.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to affirm you in that because I watch she's one of the people I watch all the time to kind of see where's she going now, what is she doing, and I love that you just live out loud and there's no need to dim yourself in hopes of anything because whoever is for you is someone who can stand in that space with you and not be intimidated. Well, tell
Mhm.
us again about your IG handle and your YouTube page. How can anyone that's watching keep up with Leenie Travels? What are your handles?
Yes, so you can find me on IG and on YouTube as Leenie Travels. So it's Leenie and Travels. Travels with an S at the end. I do have a website, but it is currently down. My whole plan, and I'll tell you, was to launch my website back in February, and then COVID hit. I canceled 5 trips, and let's not talk about the amount of money I lost because of it. But I'm still grateful because I had the opportunity to just reflect on where I really want to take Leenie Travels, because I just started it without having a plan. And the last year has shown me that things can change in the blink of an eye. So, you know, a lot of people right now, they will even tell you, you don't want to start a travel business because you just don't know what is going to happen or come down the pipeline. But I'm not going to give up on my dream because a pandemic hit, you know, because people are talking about what is going to happen versus what is not going to happen. I do know that while I'm traveling, I have to try and be as safe as possible. I also work in healthcare, so I can empathize with what is currently happening in the world. I try my best to be as safe as possible, and I will encourage anyone who's out there that is going to travel during COVID or even after, that you will be safe, you will wear your mask, you will do the things that are necessary to keep others safe. So I do plan to look into how can I really be effective in the travel space. I'm looking at doing reviews for hotels, doing reviews for restaurants. I'm also vegan. I know it's a struggle when you travel to find vegan options. So I want to share those type of experiences with people so that they know, hey, if you visit Antigua, here are some restaurants that you can try that will offer vegan food, and try to really narrow down into a niche that I can be very impactful to the users who are following me.
That is a great idea.
That's
Great.
awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Earleen. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for sending a message to women that if you have something on your bucket list, do it. Go out, follow your passion.
Yes.
And like Earleen, maybe your passion will end up becoming something that's just a driving force and ends up having its own movement or following behind it. So step out. Break up with fear. Don't be like me. Don't get engaged and settle down.
Walk in faith.
Walk in faith. Alrighty, thanks so much, Earleen. We appreciate you.
Thank you. You all have a wonderful evening.
Please come back anytime.
Yes, I will, definitely.
All right.
All right.
Ladies, it was so good to have this talk with Earleen. And I hope also you guys appreciated having this talk about our bucket list and fulfilling those dreams and moving forward in 2021 with faith and with new goals. So we'll see you guys on the next episode, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll see you guys on the next episode of She Who Speaks. And in the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. All right, guys. See you next time on She Who Speaks.
Bye.
Bye.